the stunning daughter of the monarch, Lady Marian, who is singing sweetly while inside the royal restroom. Broomfield, her maid, comes up to her at that same moment and tells her to get dressed. Lady Marian is seen wearing a chastity lock when she emerges from the bathtub. It comes out that the lock was a precautionary measure taken by her father, the king, to keep her safe from malicious people. Marian has been frantically looking for a guy who can unlock her lock, but the key has long since been misplaced. The next clip shows a group of males dancing to hip-hop tunes. One of the dancers describes how Prince John and his sheriff have gained control of England and are taxing the populace unfairly and heavily. The movie's protagonist, Robin Hood, is first presented elsewhere in Jerusalem's Khalil jail. He is being escorted to the most notorious cell in the jail after being arrested for participating in the Crusades. One of the soldiers there questions him about his destination, but Robin declines to reply. The guard then uses a tongue loosener to punish him as a consequence. The weary guard shackles Robin to Asneeze while announcing that he will return for more questioning. Following his departure, the two inmates make introductions and quickly become friends. Asneeze is detained for no other reason than jaywalking, whereas Robin is incarcerated for a major offense. They quickly devise a strategy to free themselves from their shackles and hit the metal bar. Fortunately, the bar snaps, allowing them to release themselves. The pair then releases everyone in the cell, and they all jointly make their way out of the ventilation system. In the next scene, Robin thanks Asneeze for assisting him in escaping when they are both on the beach. He offers to aid him in whatever way he can as a symbol of friendship. When Asneeze hears this, he pulls a photo of his kid Achu out of his pocket, and asks him to watch for his son, who is now in England. Asneeze responds that Achu is an exchange student when Robin, who is perplexed, inquires as to how Achu ended up in England. Being a man of his word, Robin commits to taking care of Achu before leaving the area. However, he swims the entire distance from Jerusalem to England. He arrives, and rides out in the direction of his home. Unexpectedly, he witnesses some troops abusing an African youngster as he travels. Given that there are no other Africans in the vicinity, Robin immediately determines that it is Achu. In his haste to save the boy, he fights all the troops by himself using his superb combat abilities. The two then mount the horse and go over to Robin's house. Sadly, when they arrive, they see a guy towing the house away. Robin confronts the man and demands an explanation from him in a fury. The guy just delivers him a parchment, which Robin reads to learn that Prince John has taken possession of his home since he didn't pay his taxes on time. Even though Robin makes every effort to argue that because he was imprisoned in Jerusalem, he could not pay the taxes, the guy ignores him and takes the house. Robin observes his blind servant, Blinken, as he saunters around the area forlorn. The two are delighted to finally meet, yet as soon as Robin learns that his father has died away, he becomes distraught. Even worse, according to Blinken, while he was abroad, his mother, brothers, and goldfish perished. Blinken pulls out a pendant as the two continue their conversation, telling Robin that it was his father's final present to him. Blinken responds that it contains the secret to the greatest treasure in all of the land when Robin inquires what is within. Robin eventually introduces Achu and Blinken to one another. A youngster runs towards them from the woods while the group is conversing. The youngster responds that the Sheriff of Rottingham is after him after Robin, being the nice guy that he is, inquires as to what is wrong. The sheriff quickly shows along with his soldiers and demands the kid be returned, but Robin is unwilling to give him up. The two argue as a consequence, and the argument culminates with Robin humiliating the sheriff in front of everyone. He promises to exact revenge on Prince John before sending the gang on their way. Later, Prince John meets the Sheriff of Rottingham, who informs him that Robin is pursuing them. In this passage, we learn that Prince John is in charge of the realm because his brother, the king, has left to participate in the Crusades. He is taxing people heavily for his gain, as opposed to being a kind and compassionate leader like his brother. John is understandably alarmed by the news and immediately begins to think of solutions. When he can't solve the problem, he goes to the dungeons to see his witch, Latrine. John tells his witch everything and begs her for advice on how to stop Robin. Latrine agrees to help, but in exchange she wants John to help her get in touch with the sheriff, her infatuation. The prince concurs despite being certain that the sheriff will never approach the witch. In another location, Little John the Giant stops Robin and his group on a bridge as they are making their way to the castle. Little John insists that they must first pay the toll levy before Robin will let them pass. Robin declines, and the two engage in a stick battle. Robin defeats the monster despite his little stature and drives him into the river, which hardly has any water. Unexpectedly, Little John begins drowning in the puddle despite not knowing how to swim. Robin is first surprised, but as Little John keeps stumbling, he helps him up. With this, he gains the giant's confidence and integrates him into the group. Little John contacts his best friend Will. His crazy dagger techniques allow him to cut through anything while it is in the air. Following the introductions, the 5 individuals set off towards Prince John's palace. Prince John and the sheriff are partying inside the castle at the same time. Lady Marian soon joins the group and takes in the festivities. The sheriff, who is enamored with Marian's attractiveness, begins to flirt with her right once, but she ignores him. Robin suddenly bursts inside, slinging a dead hog over his shoulder, and places it on the throne table. The intrusion makes John and the sheriff furious, but Lady Marian is impressed. Then Robin kisses Marian on the hand and introduces himself. The sheriff is incensed by this and challenges Robin to a duel. The prince must summon his guards after Robin and the sheriff predictably sweep the board. Despite fighting bravely for a while, Robin is finally outnumbered. At the moment when all hope appears gone, Robin's gang bursts through the entrance and begins fighting the security personnel. They quickly defeat all the evil men, wowing everyone, including Lady Marian. Before departing, Robin threatens Prince John to lower taxes or else he would have him removed from office again. The men begin training the following morning after dressing like Robin Hood. The men are so inept that they cannot even overcome some dummies. The sheriff hires Don Giovanni, a member of the Italian mafia, to kill Robin in the castle in the meanwhile. Giovanni is traveling with two of his friends, Filthy Luca and Dirty Ezio. After some discussion, the two decide that they will entice Robin by holding an archery contest in the palace, in which Dirty Luca will triumph. Dirty Ezio will covertly kill Robin when the audience turns on him and brands him a loser. Everyone is enthusiastic about the concept. Lady Marian can hear the entire exchange from her balcony. She wakes up Broomhilda, her maid, right away out of worry and informs her of the circumstance. The two decide to slip out of the castle and alert Robin to the danger. When it's Broomhilda's turn, her horse just pulls away, leading her to fall to the ground. They eventually arrive at Robin's camp, where Marian discloses the sheriff's cunning plan to them. When Marian says that the palace will host an archery tournament, Robin starts to doubt his initial commitment to staying out of danger. If there is an archery competition at a festival, he must go even if it puts his life in jeopardy. After that, Robin performs for his soldiers by beginning to sing operatically behind a curtain. The lads on the opposite side of the curtain believe he has taken something else out as he pulls out his sword. He takes Marian to a quiet location after the concert to tell her how he feels. But when they begin to make out, he notices that she is restrained by a chastity belt, by her excessively protective father so that she could not have any fun before getting married. When Robin overhears this, he wants to kiss her, but Broomhilda prevents them by saying that it is growing late. The two then mount their horses and ride off. The annual archery tournament is about to start as the following scenario takes place at the palace. Many expert archers have traveled from all across the country to claim the grand prize. Robin's men are also present, but they are camouflaged as females. Robin, on the other hand, dressed like an elderly guy. The competition starts soon, and just two guys are successful in hitting the bullseye. The two men are none other than Robin and Filthy Luca. The sheriff recognizes him right away as being Robin in disguise. While hiding in a neighboring tower, Dirty Ezio is waiting to shoot at Robin. Filthy Luca and Robin are told to a rematch because their previous encounter resulted in a stalemate. Robin takes the first shot and succeeds once more. He immediately takes off his mask, much to Marian's pleasure, and shows himself to be Robin. When Filthy Luca finally gets the chance, he aims well and hits a double bullseye by piercing through Robin's arrow. The audience becomes animated and starts to applaud Filthy Luca. They taunt Robin and label him a loser at the same time. Since Robin is never supposed to lose an archery competition, he is shocked. So, he pulls out the movie screenplay to make sure everything is in order. Fortunately, he discovers that he still has one shot. Additionally, Prince John and the sheriff confirm the storyline and verify their scripts. Robin draws his arrow. However, Filthy Luca pushes him just as he is about to shoot, causing Robin to send his arrow upward. Unexpectedly, the arrow shoots past the entire crowd and falls on the target, giving him victory. During Robin's victory celebration, the jealous sheriff sends his men to arrest and kill him. Lady Marian is concerned about this and promises to wed the sheriff, but only if he releases Robin. The sheriff agrees to the proposal and departs to get ready for the nuptials. Soon after, Marian, who is elegantly attired for the occasion, and the sheriff show there along with a preacher. The wedding ceremony starts as Robin observes it all take place. When it comes to Marian, she hesitates, but the sheriff readily accepts his vows. This presents an opportunity for Achu, who uses an arrow to cut Robin loose. As a result, Robin's soldiers and the guards engage in fierce combat. In the middle of the commotion, the sheriff snatches Marian and drags her into his room where he makes an effort at making out with her. He discovers the chastity lock on her as he continues to deflower her. The sheriff introduces drilling equipment and makes a determined attempt to pick the lock. The sheriff accepts Robin's challenge to a duel as soon as she enters the chamber. As the two converse back and forth, Robin's pendant breaks and a key falls out of it. The key unexpectedly finds its way onto the lock and fits perfectly, suggesting that Marian's virginity is the most valuable asset in the realm. After a brief period of distraction, Robin unintentionally stabs the sheriff with his sword. Latrine approaches the injured sheriff as he lies on the ground and says that she has medicine that can keep him from dying. She will give it to him, but only if he agrees to wed her. The sheriff complies out of desperation, and after being saved, he is taken away by Latrine. Robin and Marian's exchange vows in the film's last scene. The king arrives from his crusade at that same moment and accuses his brother of being nasty and evil. At the same moment that he commands his troops to imprison John, he also honors Robin for his bravery and courage. The monarch also removes all of the unjust levies levied against the populace and gives Robin his house back. Robin and Miriam then share their first kiss. In the post-credit sequence, Robin discovers that the lock won't open even with the key when he tries to deflower Miriam.